very heartening, that is gratifying, and it is just a testimonial of his acceptance across the length and breadth of West Africa in the last couple of weeks that he's assumed office. It's just also a testament to the general accolades, encomiums, and all the encouragement that he's been getting, both internally and externally, in the last 6 weeks or thereabout. And this also speaks to the efficacy and efficiency of his policies. Now, we've always maintained that there is no efficient foreign policy that is not contingent or dependent on a proficient domestic policy. Now, when your domestic policy is sound and it has wide acceptance, your foreign policy will be straightened out. Your PR, your image, the perception of you globally will be just good, because you can't be good outside and bad inside. So it is the efficacy of the policies and the general acceptance of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu's policies that have resulted in part into this election as the new chairman of the ECOWAS. Actually, even from Paris, when we were in Paris for the global summit, we've been having feelers. Some heads of states of West Africa had been coming round to actually drop the hint that they wanted him to take the leadership role. It also speaks to the position of Nigeria in the Committee of Nations and its leadership role in West African sub-region specifically. Don't also forget that, as some of them even said inside the place, Nigeria is now back on the global stage. Nigeria is now taking its rightful position, among the nations of the world. And Nigeria, that had been looked up to, in fact, inside the meeting today, several heads of state really applauded Asiwaju Tinubu, the President Tinubu, for doing what he has been doing, for exemplifying boldness and courage, vision and knowledge in governance. And they said in unison that Nigeria has been absent in terms of demonstrating strong leadership in West Africa and in Africa, generally. But that they are now happy that Nigeria is back, given under the presidency of Tinubu. And so electing him as a leader, as a chairman of ECOWAS, really no longer came as a surprise. And that was why there were speculations in Nigeria yesterday, day before yesterday. Some media houses, for crying out loud, did call me to ask me if it was true. They said there was a breaking news that he had been elected the chairman. That was even before we left Nigeria. How could anybody elect anybody without an election? So, but we are happy that it has happened. And everybody, Nigeria is now being looked upon by the sub-region and even Africa generally as now stepping out, taking its rightful position as it should have done years ago, but better late than never. Number one, strong leadership, which is his hallmark anyway. It's an innate thing with him. It is inherent in him. It's an intrinsic quality that he has. He is a very courageous person. He is a very bold personality. He has a very bold personality, and he never shies away from taking the decisions, the right decisions, however unpalatable it is, as long as it is the right thing to do. Where other men would, scurry away, he will stand firm, take decision and take responsibility. And that's the hallmark of progressive good leadership. So this West African sub-region is going to see a lot of such attributes. Two, some of the issues that came up in this summit have to do with security, stability, and counter-terrorism issues in West Africa. We all know how, very devastating terrorism has been in West Africa, in Nigeria, in the countries, Niger, Burkina, all the countries surrounding Nigeria, and even beyond, have been ravaged by terrorism, banditry, you name it. And we have our own fair share in Nigeria as well. So the role of Nigeria in terms of stemming this tide cannot be overemphasized. And nearly all the heads of state here today, without exception, alluded to that, and we're glad that Nigeria is now showing strong leadership, which is an ingredient that is needed in warding off all these terrorism, instituting counter-terrorism mechanisms across the length and breadth of the sub-region, with Nigeria taking the lead. So Nigeria is going to take the lead. And it's even in our own collective interest, whether we like it or not. We are the giant of Africa, so you can imagine we are the double giant of West Africa. You know, economically, militarily. Here in Bissau, we have the ECOWAS stabilization contingent. You saw them. We have the largest number of military men here stabilizing this country. So we have an onerous responsibility for the rest of the West African sub-region, in particular, not to talk of the rest of Black Africa in general. So the ECOWAS is going to see that strong leadership. Nigeria is going to take a leading role in stemming the tide of terrorism, putting in place all the counter-terrorism measures. That's also partly why the NSA is here in its entourage. And then ensuring security, economic integration. The issue of single currency was discussed at length, and that is also on the front burner. And economic integration, free movement of goods and services, like a borderless environment. All of those ones will be seen to be on the front burner under the leadership of Asiwaju as chairman of ECOWAS.